What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of MavAttack. Not too sure what we're titling this one, but we're going in. I actually never got to really talk about The Division on the channel, but I haven't really finished the game, so it's more like a in-depth impressions, but I won't be doing a review of the game. I just won't, because I won't be able to finish it. I haven't put a crazy amount of time into it, but the time that I have put into it, I have formulated some thoughts, some opinions, some impressions. So with The Division, you have a very limited character selection. You can make male or female, different races, different skin tones. You can do different hair types, very limited. Tattoos, war paint, facial marks, piercings, anything like that. You know, just simple things to make you look a little bit different than your comrade. But anyway, you get into the game. You start out in Brooklyn. You know, Brooklyn is cool. That's kind of how they introduce the game, as you becoming a sleeper. You're like a sleeper division agent, and then once shit starts popping off, you're activated and you have to go out and fight and take the city streets back and everything. So once you go through the tutorial phase, you know, we got Fetty Lau. We got Fetty Lau at the beginning. You know, she gets bodied, her face, she loses an eye, her eye gets messed up. You go to your main central command post, which I believe is a post office in the main game, or the town hall, whatever it is in the main game, in the center of the city. Your base of operations that you have to kind of upgrade, customize, and do missions for to develop it more. And it is from this main base of operations where you can buy from weapon vendors, mod vendors, gear vendors, take on missions, grab side missions, re-equip, restock on your ammo, go buy upgrades and customizables, and craft weapons from weapon parts or from parts that you find scattered throughout the world. The Division is at its core light MMORPG, just because you only run into a lot of those other players in earlier zones, or zones that are safe zones, or zones that are more neutral to players, except for the dark zone, which is a little bit different, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the main base game is fun. The gameplay, movement, and shooting mechanics feel great. The guns just feel good. I mean, it's a Tom Clancy game, so they're gonna have to get, you know, the shooting combat and the movements kind of down, like they usually do. I feel like, at least they try to get them down, and they do a pretty good job at getting gameplay mechanics and basics of, you know, whether it's a cover-based shooter or not. They usually get them down pretty decent. So no qualms with the movements or the gameplay, controller in hand, with The Division. I use Xbox One and PlayStation 4 controller because I have it on PC and PlayStation 4. So those were the two platforms that I played on. Kind of go back and forth between. Story, not too sure still what the story really is. I know that there's a flu, what is it, bird flu, swine flu? What is it? Malaria? There's some kind of infection that spreads throughout New York City, and they quarantine the city down. And so there's people sick in there. They tried to treat people, but they just couldn't. It got out of control, and then the streets were just abandoned, right? And this was like Black Friday, so this was right after Christmas, and you know, the graphics are great. You know, it's not as great as what it's advertised, because it never is with Ubisoft, but it's still decent. You know, it's all right. Nothing next gen, nothing crazy. Still got some great lighting though. I loved some of the lighting effects and particles and everything. But that's all cosmetic. That's whatever. So gameplay is great. The mission variety and the mission structure. You're gonna basically do the same exact thing every single time you go through a mission, cover to cover, kill enemies, move to the objective, capture the objective, fight a group of enemies, and then fight the team or the enemy boss. And then once the enemy boss dies, loot drops, evacuation. So in, out, in, fight a boss, get out. So it's, you know, it's an RPG. It's an RPG, and that's what you have to remember when going into or considering The Division, if you haven't purchased it already, or you're still waiting on my word or somebody else's word, whatever. With The Division, I don't think it works too well personally as an RPG in this setting. For immersion, fucking breaks it, because there's enemies that will charge you with baseball bats. They are pretty fucking stupid. Enemies will charge you with baseball bats when you have an assault rifle. Enemies will, it's an RPG, and I'll keep saying that. Bullet sponges, you'll be shooting, drilling enemies with loads and loads of bullets, countless bullets. But it breaks immersion for a little while, and then for me, I forget about it. I forget that it's even a big deal, that it's like, oh, this is an RPG. I'm fucking shooting enemies with 5,000,000 bullets. It just, I don't give a fuck at the end of the day, because the gameplay is fun, and I'm a loot whore. I love grinding for loot, and shout out to all my loot whores out there as well. I'll see y'all, man. Go get your fucking rare loot drops and shit, man. Get your keys, get your loot up, man. Get them purples, man. You can do all the story-based stuff and all the main missions, side missions, random encounters, random events. You can do all that with friends. I think it's up to 4, so you and 3 other people in a party can group up and run around the city streets together. But then there's also the PvP aspect, which is a little bit different. Now, this is called the Dark Zone, and this zone is literally fight to live, kill everything you see. You see a few guys, go fuck them up real quick, grab their loot. No, it doesn't work like that, though. It does not work like that though. The Dark Zone is where you can get a lot of rare and way better loot or gear than you have on yourself in basically the base game, like the main game and the story. You get way better gear in the Dark Zone from doing some of the shit in the Dark Zone that you can do. But there will be NPCs in the Dark Zone that are much more difficult to kill, and Dark Zone has its own level as well as the main base game. So you could be level 25 in the base game, but like level 50 in the Dark Zone because you spend all your time there. But the Dark Zone is PvP. Go in with your team. You can go kill random NPCs to get drops from them, and then you get a bag, and everything goes into this bag, and you can only get a certain amount of gear in that bag until you have to extract it. And when somebody shoots the flare and calls the extraction helicopter in, other players that are also trying to get this rare loot can come and extract, or come and stop you from extracting, or come and wait for you to, or extract and then wait for you to come extract and kill you and take your stuff and extract. So there can be a lot of deceit, and there's a lot of scumbag shit, but then there's also not. The Dark Zone is like, it's hit or miss. Some people want to take you the fuck out, decimate you and your squad, and take all your loot and gear for themselves, extract it, and you don't have anything. You just lost gear. Or everybody comes to the extraction point for your gear because they have to clean the gear off and all that shit, I guess. But if you come to the extraction zone, everybody's friendly. They're all doing emotes, jumping jacks, fucking around. So the Dark Zone does bring an interesting twist and a good change of pace to just the base single player game or story mode, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So you can do that, and you can grind with your friends and do that, and do dungeons and do all different types of difficult missions. You can do all different types of difficult missions, and you then, if you're just done with all that shit, go into the Dark Zone and risk your luck, or go in there and fight a bunch of people or shoot at people. It is up to you to decide whatever you want to do. But I think the Division is okay. It's a decent game so far. I've been enjoying it, but it's not for everybody, and it's definitely nothing like it was really hyped up to be from the beginning of them shutting that initial door to now. It's like, it's all right. I expected a little more, but I still am happy with whenever I play it. I would not say this game is warranted a full price purchase at all. If you can go half and half with somebody on it, or if you can get somebody to donate to you, if you can get it at a discounted price, it is a decent game, and I would say wait for a price drop on it. If I could say now, I would say now, I would wait on a price drop for me to you. A price drop, definitely. Decent game, but if you're not into RPGs, or you think you're getting something that you're not getting, you're gonna be disappointed that you paid $60 for a Splinter Cell or a Ghost Recon, and you got a Destiny. And that's about it. Well, thank you guys all so much for watching this episode of MavAttack. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but let's be honest. If you enjoyed this episode of MavAttack, please be sure to attack that like button. I want to say thank you guys all so much for watching. All you human have to stay rad, and all you human have to stay fab, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of MavAttack. Motherfucker.